Welcome back to Christian World News. Siberia is one of the coldest and most desolate regions on earth. But that didn't stop a band of Russian evangelists from bringing the gospel and some Christmas gifts to Siberian children this January. Correspondent Greg Yoder has that amazing story.
You might call this a winter wonderland, but only if you don't live here. The local name for this region means literally the end of the world. Jesus commanded his disciples to take the gospel to the ends of the earth, and this winter, a hardy band of evangelists supported by U.S.-based Russian Ministries accepted the challenge.
Russian Ministries is supporting regional evangelism and church planting centers all over Russia. But we're here in Siberia, the Arctic North, the region of Yamal. We're in the city of Salakhard, where 10 years ago there were no churches.
Salakhard is located 150 miles within the Arctic Circle. In January, the city of 35,000 people was the jumping-off point for a week-long trek to minister to some of the 17 unreached people groups living in the Yamal region. This team traveled 1,600 miles through the Siberian tundra. They took trucks over the frozen roads, and when the trucks couldn't go any further, they used caterpillars to make their own roads. And in places where the caterpillars couldn't go, well, there's still the old-fashioned sleigh. They endured the hazardous travel, 40 below weather, and the region's almost constant darkness to deliver Christmas gifts to the children of this impoverished region and to tell everyone about the love of Christ.
And specifically this week we're distributing lots of those OCC, Operation Christmas Child boxes, to orphans and orphanages, working with national workers here to schools, support lots of outreach activities.
They preached in 24 villages and towns and gave away 500 shoe boxes full of gifts from Operation Christmas Child. Some of the children are orphans. Others are the children of reindeer herders who are sent away to boarding school during the winter months. For these kids from poor families, getting a box full of gifts goes beyond their wildest dreams. And the fact that someone would travel so far just to bring them a gift is a testimony.
Children's Bibles to kids in this little town.
Russian Ministries believes reaching young people is the key to evangelizing Russia. That's because the younger generation is more open to the gospel and less affected by the atheism of the communist era.
They're educated, they have tremendous amount of energy, they are teachable, and so that's our goal today, to equip young people and transform them into church leaders of the emerging evangelical church in Russia.
The ministry has met with some success in Yamal. Leaders from the Baptist Union recently blessed these men as evangelists to their people groups in the region. Boris is a former witch doctor who found Christ and immediately burned all his magic. Now he'll bring his people the good news of Christ in a region that has been cut off for too long.
It's hard to get there for us, but they belong to that place. So we're so grateful that through our missionaries, gospel can be reached to those unreachable tribals that live at the end of the world in Arctic Russia.
Back in Salakhard, another kind of rebirth is taking place. This church is going up in the same site where the regional headquarters of the Gulag once stood. The Gulag was the Soviet-era penal system whose prisons dotted the vast Siberian wasteland. Millions of Christians died in its brutal work camps during the communist regime. Russian believers say putting a church on this spot is a symbol that God saw their tears and remembers their suffering. And they believe this building will also serve as a headquarters. But in stark contrast to the headquarters that oversaw the prison camps, this one will serve houses of worship. From Yamal, Russia, I'm Greg Yoder for Christian World News.
Greg, thank you. Brr. Talk about going to the ends of the earth to share the gospel.
Just a
absolutely incredible.
Great way to end the program.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us this week.